Hello and welcome to episode 459 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now, on today's episode, we have a returning guest, and I'm really thrilled to announce they're back because last time they came on, it was at Slam Dunk, I think. So we only get sort of 10-15 minutes, and we hit it off straight away. I've been an absolutely huge fan of these ladies ever since I got to see them live. They're getting bigger and better. And the exciting news is, as we're sitting here right now, they've just brought out a brand new album, which is genuinely fucking awesome. The album's called Parasites Butterflies and is going to blow your mind. So yes, I think it's fair to say, you know who's on the episode. It's the awesome Nove Twins. On today's episode, I'm joined by Amy and Georgia, and it's just great fun. Like I said, I'm a genuine fan of this band. I have been for so long. They have such an original, fresh sound, and they're truly one of the best British bands out there, so it's great to sit down and give them their own episode. And the interview with both of those will be coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. But on every episode of Mark and Me, I will always use the intro just to quickly touch base and talk about my last episode. It only came out 48 hours ago, but it was a big one. I was joined by the genius that is Lloyd Kaufman. We got to talk all about The Toxic Avenger, horror, and trauma. And it was such a popular episode, so thank you so much to everyone that listened. But today, it's all about, and it really is, Nove Twins, a band that if you haven't seen them live, you have to. If you've never listened to them, stop the podcast now. Normally I say listen at the end. Stop now. Go and listen and then come back to this interview because trust me, they will change your world. They're absolutely phenomenal. And what I want to do now is to get straight to the interview with these incredible, incredible girls. So, here's me and the awesome Nove Twins. So, Nove Twins, welcome back to the Mark and Me podcast.
Hi, nice to be back.
Hi.
We were just saying before we hit the record button that last time was in I think it was Slam Dunk or Download. We've been in festivals and we never get long enough. So it's a real honour to have you both join me for a full episode dedicated to the Nove Twins. I think it's been a long time coming, but the best things are always worth the wait.
Yeah.
What I do for all the listeners out there is I love to take it right back to the start. So for both of you, we may have discussed this at festivals, but I think because we're getting our own episode today, it's important that the listeners get a refresh. When you're growing up, I think music is so important. You're saving up all your pocket money to buy those first albums. You go out there, you buy it. Even if it's crap, you listen to it and tell yourself it's worth the £12 because you've worked hard. Can you remember, even if it's embarrassing, girls, and terrible, that first album that both of you went out and bought with your own money that made you fall in love with music?
Oh God. If we're really, really going back, but this is on the more embarrassing level. When I was probably like 7, I used to love Daphne and Celeste. I don't know if anyone's going to remember them, but like their music was more for like 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
Kind of like really fun. I remember listening to that a lot. But when I was more forming my musical taste, I remember being in the car with my dad listening to like Stevie Wonder on his Inhibitions album, and he'd have it on cassette and we'd just play that on loop. And I loved all the like theatrics of that album, and all the kind of bass lines were really cool and interesting. And then when I got a little bit older, probably like 12, 13, I fell in love with NERD and the Neptunes, and they blew my mind, just how different they sounded and how fresh it was. They were kind of following their own rules, putting like so many genres together. I just never heard anything like it. And I loved how fun and experimental the music was. They wasn't, I don't know, it just felt like they literally were just doing whatever they wanted to do. And I grew up in a very musical household, so music was going on all the time. All my family play music, so everyone was always jamming or teaching music and singing. And so yeah, it was a fun time. I was always in like summer workshops, like School of Rock, like forming bands
That's
since I was
awesome.
like 8, and things like that. So it was definitely just music was in my bloodstream.
You know, you mentioned Daphne and Celeste. Now, I don't know if you'll remember this. This is how I show I'm a bit of an old man. But did you know this, that they played Reading Festival?
I did know this.
So, yeah, they opened for Slipknot at Reading Festival 25 years ago and got bottled off stage.
And it's savage. People are
So
so
bad.
cruel.
I don't know if the organisers knew that because I was like, why would you add this before Slipknot? But it was not fair, and I feel like that's how they're known now. They're kind of all you do is Google Daphne and Celeste, and all you see is videos of them getting bottled. And I think that is a real cruel thing to
It's
do.
cruel. And to put them before Slipknot is cruel. They're literally, for kids.
Yeah,
Really cruel.
brutal. But then this year they put on Venga Boys, and everyone went crazy and loved it. So I don't know. Maybe you just got to, as an organizer, take a risk. But I always feel sorry for those two for that. I feel like that was just savage.
It was savage. It was really savage.
So, Amy, I think the foundations there have been laid pretty high with Georgia, and I wondered, did you have a great experience? I mean, I really do respect and appreciate that Georgia was like, yeah, it's Daphne and Celeste, it's not a great one. So, if you come out and be like, oh, it's Led Zeppelin and Pearl Jam, I'm like, okay, fair, but or was it something that you don't mind admitting to thousands of people that was terrible?
Most definitely. I wouldn't. I still back it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I feel like when I was really young, it would have been probably like Spice Girls, Craig David, and J Lo. They are the like
nice.
um, they're the kind of very early memories growing up in Essex. That's what kind of I guess reached me just naturally. That was what was around in my area. That's what my friends were listening to. And then my mum would always play Tony Braxton's Secrets, and I went and bought that CD, and I love that CD so much. I still love the album now. It's such a great album. And then when I was probably like, I don't know, like 16, when I started to properly like develop my music taste and things, I remember I bought a New York Dolls album, and it was just self-titled. It was like black and white with the pink New York Dolls, and the Kick Out the Jams MC5 album. And this is when I started to discover. That's when I kind of went to college in London. I moved to London and I discovered things outside of my orbit, and people would just introduce me to these bands, and I kind of, I guess, fell in love with like rock music. And then I got those albums. So I back all of them from Craig David to to New York Dolls. I
That's a
mean,
great journey.
it's a great journey, yeah. And I remember also like having a tape, and like me and my friends would like record our stuff on it, like, and it was just like UK garage, like 702 and Kelly LaRock and things like that. Like, because our parents, especially one of my friends' mum, Rocky, her mum would play so much garage to us, like what she was listening to. So then we'd be listening to it in the car, and then we'd go and like get all those and like record it on a tape and stuff. So yeah, it was just a big mix. But all of it's a part of the journey. So I feel like even the embarrassing ones, or what people deem to be embarrassing, I think it adds to the story, and you learn something from it.
Amazing, girls. So live music changed for me. I tell this story in every episode, but I think it's important because it's the truth. I was very lucky. My first gig, I'm a lot older than you, but I went to see Green Day on their Dookie tour. My parents dropped me off at Wolverhampton at the Wolfram Hall, and it changed my life. I think I was about 13. I got told not to speak to any strangers, don't do any drugs, don't drink. Got picked up, and that night I came home and I was like, I want to be Billy Joe Armstrong. I want to get my hair green. I want to buy a guitar. I want to be in a band. I want to be successful. And because I'm a podcaster, it obviously shows that didn't work out. So I wondered if both of you had a great first gig. Surely it wasn't Daphne and Celeste for your first ever music live experience. Was it a great one? Was it an embarrassing one? I mean, you've been very honest so far, which I really respect.
What I remember as my first gig, I must have gone to other gigs, but what I remember is like this was the first concert was Beyonce on the I Am Sasha Fierce
Oh,
tour,
wow.
and it was honestly mind blowing. My mum bought tickets for my dad's birthday, and they were like up in the heavens. but the company didn't deliver the tickets till like the day of the show or the day before the show. So they compensated us with like third row tickets. So we was literally just stood third row to Beyonce and her incredible band. And I just remember standing there just being like mesmerized by all the powerful women on stage. She had like Divinity Rocks playing bass.
Oh my God.
And she was just ripping like an incredible bass solo in front of this massive arena. Beyonce was just like being an absolute goddess. And I just remember standing for the whole 3 hours, just like in awe, thinking like, I want to do this. I want to, be on that stage. I can do this. I can see myself. And it was a really kind of key moment for me. As I think I was probably about 11.
Wow. I mean, I thought Green Day was good. I always pull that out as like a really good trump card. I'm like, this is the one. Most people are going to come on and be like, oh, I saw S Club Juniors and I didn't like it. It was at Butlins. But my God, that's huge. Like, as your first ever live experience to see one of the most successful pop artists of all time, it's like, it's only going to go downhill from there.
I know.
Now I'm thinking Amy's going, oh God, I need to lie because that's too big.
No, I always have to like recall. I feel like my friend used to really love, like, when all like the indie bands were just like everywhere.
Yeah.
So many of them you couldn't breathe. And like she used to take me along to like a load of those like smaller gigs, but I used to go to those. But one of them, I remember one was like they were a band called One Night Only. I feel like they had maybe like a single or something. And then it was the Noisettes.
Oh, I remember them.
And they are, I mean, an incredible band. And Shingai is such an amazing, incredible front woman's vocalist. She's out of this world. And it still blows my mind that they don't have as much credit as like some of their other like male counterparts, because she was like hanging off the balcony and doing all those like she's just out of this world. But that was like kind of smaller little venues that we were seeing there. And then my first actual like arena at the O2 was also, she also took me to, my friend, see Beyonce. But I was in the heavens and Beyonce was like this small, and I was like watching the screen like most of the time, but I was like, it's still Beyonce, because our love for Beyonce is a bit. We are actually in the Beehive, like we are a proper fan.
Oh, nice.
Like Destiny's Child, Beyonce, like we love them, the band, and obviously Beyonce. So that would have been my first proper arena.
Did you both? I know. Then you said you came home and you were like, that's all I want to do. You probably had the same feelings that I did from Green Day. But when was it a reality that you were like, I actually want to be in a band. I want to write and play music? Because people dream, people stand in front of the mirror wishing they were Kurt Cobain or this big celebrity. But when was it actually a reality for you both?
Well, I was in bands from a very young age because I always went to like my parents like run School of Rock schools and
Yeah.
kind of workshops like that. So I was in a band from when I was like 8. But I think my first proper band I was probably about 13, playing bass because I used to play piano. And then one day I was just picked up the bass. I was like, I want to play the bass. And everyone was like, God, we need you on piano, G. But I was like, no, I want to play bass. I want to try bass. And then I think that whole summer I just didn't put it down, and I was probably terrible at it, but just stuck to it. And then formed my first band, and then we used to do just all the grassroots venues. I was like underage, just hiding under like the bar from the security. And, like sometimes I'd find out that we were too young. We'd have to like wait outside until we had to go on as like a compromise.
Oh, that's crazy. Like parents having
Like,
to come and be like, she's allowed in, please.
literally, and trying to like do myself up to look older than what I was. But it was so fun. So I was doing that all through school, really, and like my sights were always set on just being in a band, doing music, taking it like very seriously. So every time I was in school, I was just daydreaming out the window, thinking about like the next show, and doing that.
That's amazing. I mean, I love the fact that you're hiding behind a bar some nights waiting to like, you can go on now, quick, go.
No, no, it's quickly.
Because they can't throw you off stage, can they? Once you're on there and you're playing, even if you look 12, they're like, well, it's too late now. You're not going to stop the gig.
But
Was it the same for you, Amy? Was it quite young? You weren't, I take it, hiding from security at pubs?
I wasn't hiding, no. I was young. I've always like, I mean, from mine was more like I used to watch Disney as a kid and I used to sing all the Disney songs and be like, ah! And in my garden, I'd put like cloths on my hair, pretending it was like down to my like waist, like fucking Ariel or something. And I would always sing like that. This is me as like, 5-year-old, 6-year-old
We need
me.
videos of this because this
I
is this
It was
Novas
pretty,
do Disney.
I'd be mortified. It was very Disney, and I still love Disney. But then I don't know what. I just always wanted to sing. It was just, and my aunt encouraged that a lot. So she was always encouraging me, trying to help me like with my vocals and stuff. And then she encouraged me to go to a music college basically in London. And there I met so many amazing like-minded people doing similar things. And that's where I really like 16 started to like understand how to put it together. And, like you do shows. And I also met Georgia's brother at that time. And that's how I met Georgia. And then I was doing my own stuff and discovering all this like rock music, I guess, and then we'd be playing shows. But then as I become a part of Georgia's family and that relationship blossomed outside of college, we then those gigs that Georgia was doing, I was also doing. So we'd deliberately book ourselves on the same bill.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'd be staying at Georgia's house that night, and then we'd do events together. And it was like a big family. G's from Southeast, so there was a lot of other bands and musicians that we'd also like hang out with and be on the same bill and all kind of do it together. And we was all like, like Georgia was underage. I was like I was still a teenager as well, so it was like we was all kind of just doing it, and just having fun with it, and really just finding ourselves and getting it wrong and getting it right. And it was all really exciting, inviting like friends down to come and see our shows at the Amersham Arms and New Crossing, and then having a resident and at that point then we became a band at this point as well. Like our stuff started to fizzle out. We wrote a song together, and then we were like, why aren't we a band? We always had the same goals and aspirations. We'd always talk about like after we'd like, it's almost like we was having an affair in our other projects. We'd always
Don't tell the others.
Yeah, we'd always like meet up and like be like having the same goals and dreams and very similar. So it just felt very natural that we just ended up together making music.
It's fate, I reckon. And it's amazing that when I look back, it's just over 10 years that all happened, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, time flies, eh?
Does it feel like when you guys formed, and I know it was like you said, a bit like an affair and like your own little project, you're like, why are we not in a band? Did you kind of sit down and have any expectations, or were you just having fun? Were you not actually caring about numbers and we want to go out and do these certain shows and release this album? Were you just having fun writing music and just seeing what happened, or were you like, let's fucking go all out and make sure we don't have to do other jobs and make this our whole, reason to get up every day?
I think we were very more like we worked very hard and took it very seriously. Even from, really like young age, we were like, this is what we want to do. And, our parents backed us and they were like, this is what you want to do, just go for it and like fully do it. So we'd practice every day, we'd be upstairs just like rehearsing. I feel like for 2 years we didn't even have a social life. We just wrote songs and got our sound together and just practiced all the time, and we was little hermits and just lived in our like bubble. So we were just, we took it very, very seriously. I think we had to. It was just, we just had like a tunnel vision of what we kind of wanted to achieve, I guess.
I think it's really refreshing that you mentioned there. Obviously, I know you said your parents did the School of Rock thing and were very musical, so you're around music from such a young age. But I've spoke to a lot of bands on this podcast, and it can be a stumbling block when the parents aren't in agreement and like, sorry, girls, you need to go out and get a real job. Like, you're not gonna, not that they're gonna, you know, hope you fail, but they're gonna be realistic and be like, this is a tough world to get into. There's a lot of bands out there. Like, maybe go to university, maybe get a proper job and then do this and see what happens. But the fact that they were like, absolutely go all in, it's really refreshing to hear. It's like, it gives me hope because there's a lot of people that listen to this podcast that are forming bands, but their parents prevent it. So it's great to see that both of you are like, my parents are like, let's just fucking do this.
For sure. I think we always feel very lucky and so aware that not everyone has that kind of like encouragement, and it must
Yeah.
be really, really hard. Like, my mum was just like, well, if that's what you want to do, then just do it. But I think people were always very, like in our family, it was like, don't slack. If we were, they would base, it was quite tough love. It was like, it was very much like, here's the reality. Like, you can, and also George's dad is a jazz musician, and George's mum's a vocalist. So they know the industry, whether it's like doing small gigs or big gigs or whatever, like they are not scared of it, they're music teachers, they teach children, so music's a part of their DNA.
Of
And my aunt
course.
loved music as well, and she's such a big dreamer, classic Gemini, where she's just like, go and get your dreams, aim, and pushing me out the door to go to London and leave Essex and stuff. So I think we just got lucky in that sense. And in terms of the tough love, it was like, if you're gonna slack, if you're not gonna put the work in, then forget it. It was kind of like that. So when me and George were like, if we were being lazy, like you typical teenagers would just be like, oh God, or like we can't be asked, or it was very much like, what the fuck, like what you doing?
Yeah,
What the
too
fuck
right.
you doing? Like like, because if we're giving you this leeway, like we're saying like, right, we're backing you, we're supporting you, what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? Make sure you're like, then it's like, okay.
That's important. I think it's not too strict, but it's like, if you want to fucking live this dream, you're gonna have to put in
Work
the
for it.
groundwork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have to do the groundwork, exactly. And it was I think we've always been grounded in that sense, that it's like, it's not just like going to be given to you on a silver bloody plate. You have to put the work in. It's even tougher if you're two black women in music trying to do rock. So that's your reality check. But we have every faith in you. Go and fucking do it. You can do it. You can be anything you want to be. Even if we wanted to be like scientists, they would have always like backed us. That's just the kind of um, family we have.
And that's wonderful and absolutely never taken for granted. That's such a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. And obviously, with the time we got left, we can't talk about your whole career to date. I mean, 3 albums in 5 years, it's a lot. It's another probably 3 or 4 podcasts per album. But Who Are the Girls came out 5 years ago. Now, everybody talks about doing a debut, leaving your mark on the industry. You only get one chance to do a debut album. I don't mean to scare you, but it's a lot of love, a lot of heart, a lot of blood and effort goes into it. But not a lot of people talk about the follow-up, because I think you set a bar really high. It's an incredible debut, but then to come in with Supernova 3 years ago now, bloody hell. That for me, with absolute full respect, blew everything else out of the water. It was just like, here we are. This sounds fucking huge. The dynamics are great. The songwriting has gone up a level. The production, everything about it, the live show, like, we are here. It feels like another debut, if that makes sense, with full respect.
And I think we felt like that as well, because Who Are the Girls um, was an amazing debut, but we released it in the pandemic. Like, when we released it, we couldn't, it came out and we was on tour in France, and then all of a sudden everything got shut down. We had to run home. So I think we treated Supernova like another debut.
Yeah.
And it feels like this album's more like our second album, the one that's about to come out. So I think we were lucky to have two debuts. Because
It
we
just
got to
sounds
tour
massive.
it.
Yeah, I suppose that's so bad. Like, you're halfway through getting this tour. We're ready to show the world our music.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
didn't get to
girls.
do
Yeah.
like, sorry, we didn't get to do any like festivals or, you know, tours or press around it. So Supernova was definitely like the point where we got to tour and experience what it's like to release an album in like full force.
No
It was
restrictions, yeah.
crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
But you could have never imagined that Supernova would have taken you to, you know, look at 2000 Trees, huge slots, incredible shows. Your live production was incredible. The dynamics of the two of you, which can be so difficult at times to try and fill a whole stage of sound when some bands have 8 or 9 members. But I thought the confidence was there the moment I saw your first show. And I think it was probably around that album tour I first saw you. And I just felt like this is a movement, this is a moment, this is something really special. It felt like, I don't want to compare you to another two piece, but when Royal Blood exploded onto the scene, it was like, oh fuck, like something's changed. This is incredible. Like two people can make the sound of 10. And I've just, Amy, were you like caught up in it? Were you too involved internally, or were you able to take a step back and go, Jesus, like, look, we're going up the poster and more people are turning up with our t-shirts and the gigs are getting busier and people are singing the songs back to us. Like, it must feel like a really huge moment.
Yeah, for sure. I think Supernova, like every album, like as you start releasing the singles, it feels like if the momentum is slow, it
Yeah.
feels slow. And as soon as the album came out, we felt like everything just went like crazy, and we were suddenly under a different type of pressure, and we were so busy, and we didn't really know what was coming. We didn't know what was going to hit us. So we couldn't take any of it in because we wasn't in the same country in one day. It was literally, we were literally going back and forth, back and forth. All these things were happening to us for the first time ever, and we weren't sleeping. Um, we weren't seeing friends and family, but we was having a great time doing these shows. We were like crying out of exhaustion, but laughing through the tears because we didn't know why we were crying. Because we were just like, oh, we haven't slept in days, that's why. But it was like, it was such an amazing moment, but I don't think we really reflected until the end, until we stopped. We was like, this is all happened, this is all happened, this is happened, then the next thing, then the next thing, the next thing, and then it was like, oh, like, and it's only even now sometimes when people say this happened or this happened, we're like, oh yeah, it did, didn't it? It really did, because like all bands, there's this precious time is precious, and as soon as you do one thing, you're encouraged to move on to the next. Even we remember at Supernova when we just released the album, people were asking us what's next,
It's
like
crazy.
what's next, and we're like, oh my god, we've just literally released the album and we haven't stopped, and we just about to tour it now. What do you mean what's next? And it was just felt like, oh, like we're on this hamster wheel right now. And I think a lot of bands feel that. And then suddenly you understand, well, you don't understand, but you realize what happens. Like, you have to play catch up with yourself and your mental health and your family and your friends. And well, at this time round, I think we're better at managing it all and just trying to take it in and enjoying moments, not being so anxious that everything's coming at once. Just trying to just enjoy it. Otherwise, it just goes like that, and people asking you what's next, and you don't get to live in your moment at all.
So, girls, when's album number 4? Talking of album number 3, which might feel like album number 2 now, Parasites and Butterflies is so close to being within our fingers and hands, and we can listen and have the whole album in its entirety. It's great to have the singles, but to listen to an album in its entirety is so special for me. I love the art of being taken on a journey through 12 or 13 tracks, and it not just being the singles. I'm an albums guy. I'm old. I just remember listening to a tape in a Walkman and having to listen to a whole album. But vinyl's also introducing that, and with this album so close to coming out, what was it like with the pressures of Supernova doing so well? And we've just spoken then about how it took you to new heights. It got you on these incredible shows. You never were in the same country for more than a couple of days. Did you feel pressure of like, how do we now take this to the next level? Because the bar has been set so high from Supernova.
I think we did feel like natural pressures. going into it. And also writing this album, like for the first one we had like our whole lives to write it, and on Supernova we had the whole of the pandemic,
Yeah.
and we didn't know when that would end, so it was kind of just like taking our time writing Supernova. But this one we had like more of a deadline, so we were like, oh god, okay, we've got 4 months to write this album. So we've never had a time constriction before. We had, you know, more pressure, which is silly because, you know, we shouldn't put pressure on ourselves, but those natural demons come in and, you know, whisper in your ear like, you know, can you do it again? So, you know, we had that and just really had to kind of process and kind of try not to listen to those voices and find the fun in it again, and you know, try not to think, you know, we're on a deadline, and just kind of wade our way through it. I think this album does sound darker. It has a darker tone, and it was written in like the depths of UK winter from like December to February. And it feels like that. And I think when we got like halfway through the album, we were listening back and thought, oh God, sounds like really dark, which is, you know, great, but we needed some light on the album as well. And that's when we started, you know, writing songs like Soprano and Nova, and then we started to feel the duality between, you know, the chaos and the beauty, which is what we really wanted. We wanted there to be hope on the album and light, as well as, you know, the vulnerability side as well.
Nova, I'll just say now, is an absolute masterpiece. Like, genuinely, it stays in my head. If I listen to it for one track in the car, I can listen to a 2-hour journey and have a playlist on. Once I hear Nova, I am literally singing it for the rest of the day. It's absolute fucking perfection. So, yeah, I'm glad you took a bit of light and thought we need to have a bit more energy and not so dark. Because when I'm driving, I don't want to be crying, thinking, oh my God, it's winter. And Amy, do you feel nervous still? Do you get to the point where, I mean, only recently you were playing with, it was Biffy Clyro, wasn't it? Which is, my God, one of my favorite bands of all time. Do you still get those nerves going on stage, knowing that, you know, it's the stakes are high? You know, there's a lot of people there that have bought a ticket for Biffy. It's a bonus that you guys have been added, but you could probably win quite a few fans over that night. People could be coming, buying their ticket for Biffy and leaving saying, I want to listen to those girls when I get home and buy that album because they just fucking blew the place off stage, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think we've done so many gigs, and we're always in a position where we're playing in front of new people that we almost find it like it's fun. It's fun. And the only time we get nervous, for instance, like Ben was watching us side stage, and like, you know, when they were both watching us, we were a bit like, oh no, like that's when it's suddenly like when the band comes out and sees you, that's when we get more nervous. I feel like you know, we've been a band for like 10 years, and it's like we know we're confident in what we do, and we've learned that you can't win everyone over. Not everyone's gonna love your music, and the Biffy crowd did, though. They were actually
Yeah.
and it made sense, and it was really, really, really great. But I think bands you just got to go on and do what you do, and if people love it, then great. And if some people walk away from it, didn't take anything from it, then that's them, isn't it? So. But when the bands come and watch, that's when it's horrid. That's when it's scary. That's when your gut goes,
I don't know what I'd do because obviously I've not been famous enough to support Biffy Clyro. But if I'm on stage and I'm playing music and I look over and I can see Simon, Ben, or James, I'd be like, like it'd throw me off in the middle of the stage. I'd be like, oh my God.
It's so like that. It really is. And then they're just there, like they're dancing, and then it's just like, oh God, like you kind of like, don't fuck up, you know. You want to do a good show because they've invited you to perform to their audience, and it's always an honor when a band wants you to come on tour with them. You know, they put trust in you to do something really, really good, and they trust you with their audience. So it's always like, okay, don't like, I don't know, the nerves is always naturally are going to be there, especially when they're such an amazing band as well.
So do you, Georgia, do you get nervous? Do you go onto that stage even at festivals or the smaller shows or even the intimate like in-store gigs? Do you still have that nervous feeling of like being sick or anxious of like, oh my god, like I've got to go on. I don't want to scare you now and suddenly cancel every tour date, but
Tour's over.
yeah, but I wondered if you still do, because it's always new, isn't it? It's always scary relying on the sound engineer and the production and people turning up and being nice and no dickheads in the crowd. And I always think like the stakes are so high. I wondered if you still get those nerves, or are you just like, nope, I'm good now. I can switch it on, go on stage, and I just don't even think about it.
No, I definitely still get nervous. I think it depends though, because some days I feel like I have like gig intuition. Sometimes I'll be in the van, I'll be like, oh no, I can just sense something's gonna go wrong. I was like, and I'll just have this horrible feeling in my belly like all day, and then like the gear will break down mid-set or something. But when I don't feel like that, I actually don't feel as nervous because I trust that it's going to be a really great show. And I get more excited for it. Or if we're in like a swing of shows and we're doing like loads back to back, you get kind of used to the nerves and anticipation. So then you kind of just roll on and have a great time. But definitely when it's like really big shows or even really small shows, sometimes small shows can be really scary because it's like people are literally in your face.
Yeah, you can actually see what they look like.
Yeah. I think it just depends on the mindset, how you're feeling that day mentally. Yeah, the best shows are obviously when the mind is like in a great balanced level and you just can focus on having a great time and not an anxious wreck.
And looking at the rest of the year now, obviously with the album coming out, it's loads of press. Get out there, play as many shows as you can, tell the world the album's out, play show after show, and then is it kind of the same again early next year and then festival season, or are you just looking at the end of the year, taking a bit of time out, and then looking at next year?
The stuff in the book that can't
That's
be
good.
discussed yet for next year. So yeah, there's lots of things happening and coming up. And then I guess album 4 will be thought about this year. Because the problem is when you don't have the downtime, which we didn't for Supernova.
No.
That's when you're suddenly left with. So ideally, we'd like to this winter, when things start to cool down just a little bit before next year starts, is just get some time to be thinking about like new material actually, and then then let the chaos begin. But last time we didn't I don't know what happened, but we didn't. I just don't remember what even happened. I think we went on tour with Bring Me. And then suddenly, it was just everything just didn't stop. And then we took on another tour. I think we went to Shikari, and then there was tour. In the winter, we were touring as well. So I think that there's a power in saying no as well, and making sure we put time in other areas if we can.
I sound like a granddad, but you want a good work-life balance as well, because you don't want to burn out. And it sounds like with Supernova, it sounds so intense. Even just you talking about it, I'm like, God, that sounds tiring. And I wonder, you have got to look after yourself. You need to recharge. You need those moments to reflect as well, because otherwise, before you know it, you'll be on album 4 and be like, oh shit, what the hell happened for album 3? We didn't.
Yeah. Sure. And everyone puts so much time and work. I mean, people get the album release date, but literally years go into making that. Whether it's from the writing process to the to the practice, to the pre-prod, to the production, to the actual recording, to the mixing, to the mastering, to the packaging, to the thank you, to every single bit of writing. All of that takes so much time, and just for this one release day and people to say, oh, what's next? And I think, and we're in this culture of everything now, if not yesterday. We want everything yesterday, and after we have it, what's next again? And it's with this album, we released singles and we took our time. We didn't just want to just release a couple of singles and here's the album done. We was like, well, no, let's just take our time. We used to watch seasons, watching a series, and we didn't mind it if it was once a week. That was okay. But now we get the full season, it's like we get angry if it's only once a week now.
I know.
Being on TV, but we used to have that. We used to be happy to be like, oh, next Thursday is going to be this program.
Yeah.
And it's the same with music. It's like we used to be happy for a longer like tease time. We used to be happy and let an album breathe and really listen to all the songs on there. And now it's been reduced to a 3-minute TikTok fucking sample. And it's like, well, what are bands supposed to try and fit into that? Like, and we're totally like, no, we're going to do
the world has gone insane, like genuinely.
you
know, like you talk about TV series and stuff, like it's true. I was reading today, I think the new Alien show comes out today and it's only 2 episodes, right? And I got to wait till next Tuesday or Wednesday. And I'm like, oh fucking hell, like I got to wait a whole week. But
yeah,
I
we're
would
the same though.
yeah.
We find ourselves being the same.
But I would watch, I'd watch Lost and be left on a cliffhanger every week and be like, okay, I'll sit and wait a week and then talk about it to everyone. But now, everyone's brutal, like you said. The album comes out and everyone's like, right, when's your next one? You're like, for fuck's sake, that took 2 years.
It took years to get to this day. And now everyone's like, yeah, cool.
And the worst thing is, if you don't go and watch the TV series straight away, you go onto Twitter or Facebook and someone says, oh, I can't believe the main character died. And you're like, fuck's sake. Like, I have to watch it. I can't even wait.
I hate spoilers. I'm always like, don't tell me about it.
I know. That's what, I have to go and see a film now as soon as it comes out. Otherwise, I'm literally, I go on, someone's like, oh, it's such a shame that, you know, there was that big plot twist. And you're like, you fuckers. So,
somebody ruined the last James Bond for me, like the ending, and I was so upset.
Well, luckily it's only James Bond, which is terrible, so it's fine.
No, I love James Bond, Daniel Craig.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's cool. But yeah, that's good. What I'll do, because I'm conscious of time, I don't know if you remember this from when we were in a field together, but what I do on this podcast is for every single guest that comes on, is I ask the same question, which is basically, if you can choose the outro music, and I think you both, I won't, my memory's not that good. I'm at 450 episodes, but you choose a song that means a lot to you, and then it's played at the very end of the episode. So it's not a Nove Twins song. It's a song that you adore in the history of music.
Any song.
Any song in the world. I don't know why. I've got a little feeling. I might be wrong, but I reckon... I think G picked Rage Against the Machine. I have a feeling there's something inside that was like, you've picked Rage Against the Machine. I just got this feeling. I might be wrong, but I'll find out and then let you know in a couple of weeks. But yeah, if you guys want to pick a song that means a lot to you, and then what I'll do is when this is all edited and the world's ready to listen to it, a song will play at the very end, and it's because you chose it and it means a lot to you. But I am putting you on the spot. You can't get Emma to text me in a week and say, actually, we changed our mind. It's got to be the song.
Now.
Yeah.
What song?
Means a lot, so it needs to be a little bit.
Yeah, like I always put it as like, if people ask me, it's the song I'd have at my funeral. Like it's that important. It's like, it's the song that sits in my heart. It's the most important song to me.
Oh Jesus!
No pressure, girls.
Yeah, no pressure.
And you got 10 seconds.
Oh God! I feel like
there will be one that comes to your heart.
I feel like we should go out on Survivor, Destiny's Child.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a great one.
Because it's obviously conceptual, like very relevant. You know, you can get through anything. Destiny's Child, Beyonce, they definitely like raised us growing up musically. We loved them. They were our introduction. Like we loved them. So Survivor, Destiny's Child. Geez, put the bass line to it. It all makes sense.
It's a proper 360 moment as well, because the whole episode started with our love for Beyonce and Destiny's Child. Yeah. So perfect. Right, that is exactly on time. It's 11:15. Oh, I've gone over. It's 11:16. But thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute blast. I will tell the whole world and everyone in it to go and buy the album, go and stream it, go and get tickets to your shows. I love what you're doing. Keep it up. And thank you for coming on. It means the absolute world.
Thank you for having us.
So there's my interview with me and the awesome Nove Twins. Please tell me if you've never listened to this band, you are now listening to them because they're so fucking awesome. Truly one of the best British bands out there. They are going to be bigger and better, and they're only on album number 3. They are so good. Go and see them at any festival, go to their UK tour dates, do what you can, and then come back to me and thank me, because you really will be grateful. Nove Twins are unbelievable, and I'm really, really happy they got to come on the podcast, and we had an absolute blast. As I said at the very start of today's interview, the band's brand new album is out now. Go and listen to it. You will not regret it. It literally came out as you listen to this interview yesterday. So go and listen to Parasites and Butterflies and then let me know what you think. Also, guys, if you want to support the podcast in any way possible, please go and share the episodes. You know the score by now. It's so easy to do. You can literally go on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, hit the share button, and it really goes a long way to sharing these episodes. People see it. You never know who's your friend that suddenly loves Nove Twins, sees the artwork because you've shared it, listens, subscribes, and then becomes a listener for life. All because you literally hit the share button. Also, if you really want to support the podcast, and this is something I'm kind of almost getting to the stage of begging, I do have a Patreon. It helps me basically travel the country, go out there, record more interviews for you guys at home, keep the lights running. You know, let's be honest, to put these podcasts on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, it costs a lot of money. And the only way I can do this with support from you guys on Patreon, because the podcast will always remain free. I want to give a big shout out to the two sponsors before I go. Firstly, Richer Sounds. If you want to listen to bands like Nove Twins on the best speakers, hi-fis, or get yourself a new TV while you're listening, go on richersounds.com or visit any of their high street stores. And finally, Vice Press. If you love movie posters, collectible items, brilliant t-shirts, go on vicepress.com, add anything to your basket and use the discount code MarkandMe10. Right, guys, I just want to say before I go a massive thanks to Emma. I absolutely adore you. You know this by now, but Public City has helped Mark and me so much with the great guests that you give me. So thanks for trusting me again and giving me the Nove Twins this time round, which has been an absolute delight. I'm going to go now and say thanks to you guys for listening. I'll be back in a couple of days' time with another brand new episode of Mark and Me. So until then, guys, go and listen to Nove Twins, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
But I'm stronger. You thought that I'd be broke without you, but I'm richer. You thought that I'd be sad without you, I left harder. Thought I wouldn't grow without you, now I'm wiser. Thought that I'd be helpless without you, but I'm smarter. You thought that I'd be stressed without you, but I'm chilling. You thought I wouldn't sell without you, sold 9 million. I'm a survivor, I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna stop, I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor, I'm gonna make it, I will survive. Keep on surviving, I'm a survivor, I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna stop, I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor, I'm gonna make it, I will survive. Keep on surviving. Thought I couldn't breathe without you, I'm inhaling. You thought I couldn't see without your perfect vision. You thought I couldn't last without you, but I'm lasting. You thought that I would die without you, but I'm living. Thought that I would fail without you, but I'm on top. Thought it would be over by now, but it won't stop. Thought that I would self-destruct, but I'm still here. Even in my years to come, I'm still gonna be here. I'm a survivor, I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna stop, I'm gonna work harder. Yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm a survivor, keep on surviving. Yeah, I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna stop, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. I will survive. Yeah. I'm wishing you the best. Pray that you are blessed. Much success, no stress, and lots of happiness. I'm better than that. I'm not gonna blast you on the radio. I'm better than that. I'm not gonna lie to you and your family. I'm better than that. I'm not gonna hate on you in the magazine. I'm better than that. I'm not gonna compromise my Christianity. I'm better than that. You know I'm not gonna dish you on the internet, 'cause my mama taught me better than that. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving.